to South African preppers. So I want to talk to you today about one specific aspect that people actually don't prepare for, and that many preppers around the world actually miss when it comes to preparing. Now, doing physical preparations like getting fit and making sure that you've got X amount of food and maybe X amount of self-defense is literally only a small part of preparing. And us being part of a prepping community, we have quite a lot of people, especially the last year, that actually joined our groups. And this prepping community is most probably one of the biggest prepping communities in the world. And we're very proud to be part of this specific group. But one specific roadblock where a lot of people get stuck on is the mental preparation for what is about to happen. So what normally happens is a person normally wakes up to the fact that something is not right and something is about to go down. And then people start to physically prepare, buying the food, stocking up, buying the gadgets, buying the tents, doing a whole lot of research, trying to figure out how they should be preparing themselves physically. But a lot of people actually get stuck on the mental aspects. The mental aspects we refer to where a shit hits the fan scenario physically happens. So what goes through your mind when that instance or when that specific thing happens? We're not 100% sure, but what we believe is that people actually get stuck when they realize that the times that are coming is firstly going to be uncomfortable. So your normal routine of taking your kids to school, going to work, having hot water, opening the tap and there's water, those are the convenient part of things where everything is pretty much easy. And that is duly part because of the way modern man actually lives. And then they have to get past the fact that when the shit hits the fan, all of those things might be switched off. Like literally switching off a light switch on and off. And that the next day, things might not be the same. You might not have the convenience of opening the tap. You might not have the convenience of switching on the light. You might not have the convenience of phoning your friends and getting them over for braai or barbecue over the weekends. Things will literally never ever be the same. And this is where people actually get stuck because it will be rough. It's not going to be easy. And we always tell our members that you need to be mentally preparing as well, because the next day after a shit hits the fan scenario, and we saw this in Durban, it literally took 2 or 3 days for that whole area to be flattened to the ground, and nothing was again the same. And it's still 2 weeks afterwards not the same. And that is the mental block that people need to work on while they're preparing, because the next day you might not see your family members again. The next day you might not be able to phone that family member or your parents or your closest friend because of the networks being down. There's a big reality that you might not even have a house after a shit hits the fan scenario. You might lose some family members during a shit hits the fan scenario. And this is the biggest roadblock and the biggest thing that preppers around the world are actually not preparing for, is that physical thing that's going to happen where you basically literally going to lose everything. So please take a moment and think about it. And you need to be preparing your heart, and you need to be preparing your mind as well, because your heart and your mind runs together. If you cannot prepare that, you're in big trouble, because at the end of the day, when shit hits the fan, it's going to become so scary that a lot of people are going to actually freeze up and go into anxiety. Some of the prophets says that some people will fall down of a heart attack. So you need to be preparing mentally and physically as well. Thank you very much.